I always thought the fitter I became, the healthier I'd become. I might be wrong.
So here's a real good question. What does it mean to be healthy anyway? So I go to my doctor, he checks my blood pressure, my heart rate, whether my glucose is normal, whether my enzymes in my liver are normal, my kidneys. Then he sends me to another doctor to stick a camera up my butt. They don't find anything. Therefore, he proclaims that I'm healthy. In other words, the guy couldn't find anything that justified giving me drugs. So healthy is really a default term when they can't find anything wrong with you. In other words, the absence of disease means, therefore, you must be healthy. The second thing is mental disease. Have you ever had the depression screening from the assistant before the doctor walks in? It's so ridiculous. They ask you, are you depressed? You go, no. And then they ask, do you ever want to hurt yourself? Just once I'd like to answer yes. And if they say, well, how will you go about doing that? And I say, well, I do intervals on Tuesdays. And then in terms of health, there's the science of exercise, which says that we should be doing 150 minutes of exercise per week. That is mild to moderate. What the hell does that mean? According to science, that means we should be walking 30 minutes per day, 6 days a week. I don't know. That doesn't seem very difficult. By the way, why are skeletons afraid to exercise? Because they don't have the guts. So that's health, but what does fitness mean? Fitness is essentially the ability to do stuff. Whether you run, lift heavy crap, it's what you can do for distance or power. So if your FTP is 350, then you're more fit than a dude that has an FTP of 100. If you can deadlift 800 pounds, that means you're more fit than your grandmother who can't even lift 10 pounds of cat litter. So is there a correlation between fitness and being healthy? Well, it's a little complicated. That's a good question. There are 4 options. The third one is the problem child. All right, I'm gonna do the first one as I'm going up this hill. Now, this is one where a person is unfit and unhealthy. Oh, maybe this is a bad idea to do this going up a hill. If I was more fit, I'd be doing this better. This is probably a bad idea. Back to normal. So the unfit and the unhealthy, depending on where you live and your ethnic background and your age and yada yada, they estimate that between 40 to 50% of people in America are obese. And as a consequence of that obesity, they have ill health. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not bashing on obese people. I'm just using this as an example because if these people would somehow magically be able to get fit, a lot of their unhealthiness would go away. Exercise has shown amazing benefits in terms of your blood pressure, your blood sugar, mental health because of endorphins. When we exercise and we start using our muscles, our body starts to utilize insulin and glucose much better. And it's almost like you're forcing the muscles to get hungry for your blood sugar. And all of a sudden the receptors on the muscles start to work better. And so these are all benefits. A person doesn't have to change their diet per se, they just have to start exercising. Well, the challenge with this is a lot of people don't like exercise. It's just simply not fun. They don't enjoy it. So they never gain fitness and thus they kind of become unhealthy as a result. The second option is people that are unfit but seemingly healthy. We've all heard of the person that smokes and drinks and doesn't exercise at all, sleeps with 20,000 women, and seemingly lives to be 100. This is also called the Oprah experience. And remember Oprah? How she would have guests on her show that were 450 pounds and they'd say, I'm large, I'm lovely, and I don't care. They'd have some doctor on the show that would stick his finger all the way up his nose to the second knuckle and go, God, I don't know, we can't seemingly find anything wrong with these people. Evidently, they're healthy. How can you argue? This is essentially a scientific conundrum. People that should be unhealthy, they just can't find anything wrong with them. And this is really hard to deal with for a lot of people because we all want to have control. We all want to think that we control our destiny. It's upsetting that people can be unfit, yet totally healthy. It sucks. But here is the message. The message is genetics plays a major role in health. Now let's do number 3. This is the part that really isn't fair. It's being fit, but unhealthy. This is my problem. You see, the weird thing is I have abs, and it's not because I do thousands and thousands of crunches every day. In fact, I never do sit-ups. It's just genetic. I'm this way by design. I did not choose to be like this, but yet people assume I'm healthy. Sure, for my age, I'm fit, but that's only if you compare me to people that are unfit. Quite frankly, the bar has not been set very high for people my age. By the way, you know the secret to staying young? It's to lie about your age and just avoid mirrors. Genetics and family history play more of a role in our health than we care to think about. Genetics sets the barriers between here and here with which our lifestyle can influence whether we're this healthy or this healthy. And this just sucks because we want to have more control than this. Genetics is why you see college athletes dying of a heart attack on the basketball court, or why you hear of this triathlete who's a vegan, who works out 40 hours a week and never smokes, never drinks, and eats perfectly, still gets cancer. You see, the thing that sucks is that crap happens. And as we get older, we get closer and closer to that unhealthy end range of our genetics. The bitch of it is that as we age, we get closer and closer to where is gonna happen. Our age is simply time trying to beat us down until it ultimately wins. In other words, we all end up unhealthy at some point, despite our fitness. Death is the ultimate definition of unhealthy. I mean, I've never met a dead person who was considered healthy. And I know when people die that are seemingly fit, people always say, "Oh my God, I can't believe it, but he was so healthy." Okay, but you never see totally healthy on a death certificate. So this is all kind of depressing. So what's the fourth option? What's the goal? Option number 4, of course, is to be fit and healthy for as long as humanly possible and just to appreciate the time that we have. But since being fit and healthy are 2 separate entities, they are related, but not as much as we think. How does one accomplish this? The answer is working out makes you fit. Diet and genetics make you healthy. Stay young, my friends, and choose your parents wisely, and stop watching such morbid YouTube videos. It's bad for your health, your mental health. Just ride a bike, make sure that you have a song in your head, that you can't remember the lyrics, and that's the true definition of health and happiness. Can't remember.